We've all seen the guy. He's in every boardroom in DC, every lecture hall in Ivy League schools, every startup hub in Silicon Valley. He's the loudest person in the room. He's constantly interrupting, name-dropping, and using buzzwords to mask a lack of depth. He thinks that by taking up the most airtime, he is asserting his dominance. Lucas used to be that guy. He thought that being smart meant having the fastest answer. He thought it meant proving everyone else wrong in real time. But as Lucas looked at the true power players, the mentors, the CEOs, the silent strategists, he realized he was playing the wrong game. The loudest person in the room is usually the most insecure. They are projecting their knowledge because they are afraid of being found empty. The truly smartest person in the room? They are the one who is listening. Lucas decided to enter his silent era. He realized that knowledge is like a bank account. The more you spend it by talking, the less you have for yourself. He decided to stop spending and start investing. He stopped trying to look smart and started becoming a weapon. This is the story of how Lucas mastered the art of silent dominance and how you can use it to become a ghost in a world of noise. The first thing Lucas learned was the 80-20 rule of social intelligence. He decided to spend 80% of his time observing and 20% of his time contributing. When you stop talking, your senses sharpen. Lucas realized that most people are so busy preparing their next sentence that they don't actually hear what's being said. By being silent, Lucas began to see the subtext. He saw the micro-expressions of hesitation in a colleague. He heard the logical fallacies in a pitch. He saw the power dynamics that everyone else was too distracted to notice. He adopted the wait for the vacuum technique. In any meeting, there is always a moment of silence, a vacuum. The loud person will always try to fill it with fluff. Lucas learned to sit in that silence. He learned that the person who can tolerate silence the longest holds the most power. He realized that by saying less, his words became more valuable. It's basic supply and demand economics. If you talk all the time, your words are cheap. If you speak once every 30 minutes, people lean in. They want to hear what you have to say because they assume it's the result of 30 minutes of deep processing. Lucas wasn't just being quiet. He was performing real-time data synthesis. While everyone else was reacting emotionally, Lucas was building a mental map of the problem. He was looking for the root cause, while everyone else was arguing about the symptoms. Being the smartest person requires a foundation of actual intelligence. Silence is only a weapon if you have the ammunition to back it up. Lucas began a process of silent knowledge acquisition. He stopped talking about what he was learning. He stopped posting his reading list. He realized that the praise he got for sharing his goals was actually draining the energy he needed to achieve them. He adopted the Pareto knowledge protocol. He realized that in any field, 20% of the core concepts provide 80% of the utility. He didn't try to learn everything. He tried to master the first principles. First principles thinking. Instead of reasoning by analogy, doing things the way others do them. Lucas broke every problem down to its fundamental truths. He learned how to think, not what to think. The mental models lattice. He began to study mental models from different fields: physics, biology, game theory, and architecture. He used these to build a lattice in his mind. When a problem appeared in a business meeting, Lucas could view it through the lens of inversion or entropy. He spent his evenings in deep study. While his peers were networking, which usually meant drinking and complaining, Lucas was becoming a polymath. He realized that in the USA, Everyone is a specialist. Specialists are easy to replace. Polymaths, people who can connect the dots between different industries, are the ones who run the world. He stopped looking for news and started looking for wisdom. He stopped reading things that would be irrelevant in a week and started reading things that had been relevant for 100 years. He was building a deep moat around his mind. The test of the silent genius is the moment they finally speak. Lucas developed the surgical strike method of communication. He waited until the end of the meeting, the moment when everyone else was exhausted and the conversation was going in circles. He would speak calmly. He wouldn't use jargon. He would use a simple, powerful question or a first principles observation that cut through the noise. "We've been talking about the marketing budget for an hour," he might say. "But have we addressed the fact that our customer retention has dropped by 12%? If the bucket is leaking, it doesn't matter how much water we pour into it." The room would go silent. That is the silent domination effect. Because Lucas hadn't wasted his energy on small talk or petty arguments, his single contribution carried the weight of a sledgehammer. He learned the art of the question. He realized that the smartest person in the room doesn't provide all the answers. They ask the question that no one else thought of. By asking the right question, he forced everyone else to think on his level. He was directing the mental energy of the room without ever raising his voice. He also mastered information asymmetry. He always knew more than he revealed. He kept 30% of his knowledge in reserve. This created an aura of mystery. People couldn't find the edge of his intelligence, so they assumed it was infinite. He became the oracle of the office, the person people went to when they were stuck because they knew he wouldn't judge them. He would just solve the problem. Outside the office, Lucas's lifestyle reflected his mental discipline. He realized that a silent genius must have a quiet life. He moved away from the performance culture of DC. He stopped attending events that were designed for status signaling. He realized that privacy is a power multiplier. He adopted the stoic physicality. He didn't want a bodybuilder physique. He wanted a functional one. He trained for endurance and explosiveness. He wanted to be the guy who could stay focused for 12 hours straight without his posture breaking. He practiced digital cloaking. If you looked at his social media, you wouldn't know what he did for a living or how much he made. He realized that in 2026, obscurity is an asset. If people don't know your moves, they can't counter them. He was a silent success era protagonist. His confidence didn't come from external validation. It came from his internal metric. He knew that if he lost his job, his car, and his house, his mind was still intact. He had achieved intellectual sovereignty. He looked at the loud people again. He didn't feel anger toward them, he felt pity. They were trapped in a cycle of needing the world to tell them they were smart. Lucas didn't need the world to tell him anything. He was the one holding the map. Lucas is sitting in a leather chair in his minimalist apartment. The sun is setting over the Potomac. He looks at the camera, at you. "You're tired of being overlooked," he says. "You're tired of being the person with the best ideas, but the smallest voice. So you think you need to get louder. You think you need to assert yourself. You're wrong. Loudness is weakness. Quiet is strength. Starting tomorrow, I want you to enter your silent era. Don't tell people what you're reading. Don't tell them your plans. Don't argue with people who don't matter. Listen until you can see the logic of the room. Build your mental lattice in the dark. And when you finally speak, make sure it's the only thing people remember. The world is full of talkers. Be the one who actually knows. Become the smartest person in the room. by being the one who doesn't need to prove it. The silence starts now.